Hello everyone, this is Leif Spork. I'm here in the Dunkelrett building in Odda, Norway. This is part of the old calcium carbide factory, the Smelteverks. They used to make calcium carbide, which was a material, a compound used in was used to help produce acetylene. It was used in the steel making process and to make a fertilizer. Acetylene gas was used in lamps. So calcium carbide was a material that isn't needed as much anymore. This factory happened here in this part of Norway because of all the very cheap electricity with the waterfalls. So it's part of the story of this town. The beautiful waterfalls, the fjord here with the big mountains, and the glaciers up above bring all this waterfall that was easily captured, and they discovered this form of electricity in the turn of the century, turn of the 1900, early 1900s, and these factories were built right here because it was a just cheap way of making energy. So now this factory's shut down. I'm going to be buying this building. It's going to be paid for next week. It's going to be mine. I have to pinch myself because it's like it still hasn't set in. I mean, once it's mine and I have the deed, it'll really kind of like set in. But I just want to. So I came here. I come here to this town. I've been traveling through Norway for years, and my grandpa was a Norwegian citizen his whole life. He owned a house in Røros, and he was born in Trondheim to a very prestigious family that had made its historical mark in Trondheim by my great-great-grandfather Ludvig Spork. Went to America in the late 1800s, brought back the first prototype of a telephone to Norway, to Trondheim, where he started a telephone company, and then the government took it over. He started a beverage and a candy company with the money from the telephone that he brought, and his telephone company that he sold to the government. And so my family, my grandpa was, that's where I come from. And so I have an appreciation for Norway. My name is Leif. I studied history in college. I graduated with a history degree. I've been someone who's been interested in historical things my whole life. I own a metal detector. I like to think about dinosaurs and archaeology. And when I'm down in the ground digging up something I found, I don't sit there with the shovel and just ram it in there. I'm carefully kind of remove the dirt and seeing what's there, like an archaeologist. Being very careful to not damage any of the historical significance of what it is I'm discovering. So I get this building, and I'm able here to work on it now. And one of the things I have to do is chip away this old plaster stuff. You see, just comes around. I got to get some of it off. Some of it stays. So I just kind of realized that, all right, everyone's watching me post these videos with hacking at the building and using a power blade, cutting stuff up. But what I was taking care of was the initial invasive kind of things that have to be done if I'm going to have a workshop here. Now, just imagine if some lawyer were to buy this to make this into his law firm. I'm sure he probably would have cared about a large part of the historical content here. But he probably also would have made his offices, and it could have been very, very much unrecognizable from what it once was. Whereas me, I mean, it's a blessing to this community here, because I really appreciate this historical content in here, and I really don't want it to be shadowed by my initial work that I was doing. Like I said, the invasive work is finished. So let me try to explain to you a little bit more about me and who I am and what I appreciate. So, for instance, this little knob here that I found on the ground. This is something that when I clean this, when I have to clean this up here, there's debris and stuff everywhere. This is something that I would not throw this away. I'll put this into a box, and I'll put the boxes probably some part in this building so I can keep the things. There's going to be a group coming in here to remove things that they think are historically important. Of course, I can't keep all the trash. Some of the stuff is absolutely worthless. I mean, it's really hard for me to say the word worthless, to be honest with you. But let me just find something. Now, here's a tin can. You know, I mean, now I collect baseball cards. I collect coins. You know, it's cool to have old beer cans. You know. So these are the kind of things that I value. So this bag here probably carried, looks like it probably carried the calcium carbide from the factory. And they would probably dump this into the buckets that were the barrels that were made here. You can see here this old handwriting from someone that worked here. This is the kind of stuff that I treasure, that I think is very interesting, very important. I would not throw this away. Here's another old beer can, you know. Old labels. Very, very, very cool. You should see all the old labels that I pulled out of the old building where I'm from, the old canning factory where they used to make canned apples and plums and cherries. I have a whole stack of these old labels that were from the factory before they tore it down. Old board. There's an old board from that old building that I took before they tore it down. You could get in there when we were kids. We used to go in this old called Frigid Foods. It was an old fruit packing plant. I have this one board that talks about, a worker wrote it. It talks about how he smelled like the brine or something in the factory. So those are the kinds of things that I think are really, really cool. Again, there's not very many people out here like me. Most of them have like history degrees, and they never would ever have an opportunity to buy a building like this. You know, they go to like graduate school and they end up working for a university or work for some museum, and you know they might have a part in working in a building like this, but you know, this is like I said, I have to pinch myself that this is going to be mine. And like people come in here and they talk to me. A couple people have stopped and they talk to me, and they don't know me, and I kind of feel like this isn't fair because I kind of want to just like fall dead. I just want to like faint because this is so amazing, but I can't, you know. But I can't. I'm like I try to tell them how special and how cool this is and how awesome this is to have this, but nothing I can say can ever come close to show you how I feel about this place, and it's just growing my feelings for this place. But you know, like I was saying, this is the kind of stuff I couldn't handle outside in the building. What I've been chipping off the wall has been very similar to this. It has to come down. It has to be chipped off, because if I don't chip that off, it's going to come down very soon, because I have to remove the flaky stuff, and then when you remove some of that, you'll see that it's been bubbling up, so it'll all come off. So that's just what I've been doing. You know, these doors, absolutely amazing, these old doors. And look up here, this handmade frame with the arc on it, cut like this. You know, just to figure, you know, they didn't like have any kind of special bandsaw really. I mean, it's all like, the building was like probably made as fast as possible. You know, brickwork. I mean, it's made, these beams up here are just absolutely just unbelievable. So when people come in here and they talk to me, I don't get, you know, I'm working. I'm not giving them a tour of the building. If they wanted me to give them a tour, I could like talk about this kind of stuff all day long. You know, to be honest with you, I don't even want to remove anything like that. You know, to me, that's like, that shows marks from like the past. You know, the paint dribbles. Even that I don't want to take. I'm not even going to scrape this wall at all. There's nothing wrong with it. So I just, you know, the old wires, I want to leave them, you know, awesome. The old pipes for the irrigation for the fire, in case there's a fire, leave them, awesome. I don't see anything other than scraping the walls. There's nothing that I would want to, you know, even this old sawhorse. That would want to make this part of the building. I mean, I just want to scream out right now that you guys are so lucky to have me here, to have this appreciation for this. I just don't know I don't know how, you know. I just want to tell you guys that so bad, people of Odda. You know, this old part of the old assembly line, awesome. You know, if I can't find, you know, that could be part of the checkout at the counter, where people buy their tiles. You know, we can have that set up where we'll roll their package down to them, kind of like a fun little thing, you know, from the factory. So, you know, the old barrels. Please, leave me some of these old barrels. You know, I could totally make a cool display with these. So, I just want everyone to know that this is now this is one time where I will say this is a dream come true. This isn't a dream that I was having to come here to do this, but to have a building like this, you know, it's not set in yet because I don't technically own it yet, and I don't have my worker's permit yet, and it'll all happen slowly. But it's slowly coming together for me, and it's just, you know, it's just the beginning. So this is really just amazing. I want everyone to know that. I don't know what else to say right now. It's getting dark, so just thank you. Thank you. However this has fallen into my hands, I don't know. There's nothing I can say. I'm speechless.